guys, thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to look at an X-Type halogen headlight. We're going to look at how to change the bulbs on it because it's obviously something that most halogen headlight owners encounter during the course of their ownership. Bulbs don't tend to last too long on these cars. Part of that is the reason of the charging system. It seems to give quite a belt earlier in the run of the car, so when you start it up first you'll notice it comes well above 15 volts. All that sort of reduces the life expectancy of the bulbs. So we're going to take a quick look at the headlight bulb change, but also any other ancillaries that we've come across on the way. This one's semi-refurbished at the moment, so we can use it as a good test bed. This has got the updated wiring. The wiring on older cars, sort of pre-2004, uses a single plug, whereas this uses two. Just for your benefit, I've got one of those here, and you can see that the single plug there, it's a little bit easier to work with, but these do suffer from breakdown, unfortunately, so you can end up with either corrosion in the plug or break of cables. It ends up creating a short. So that's why in 2004 they did update to this style of separate wiring, and it is the kind that we're going to use today. Obviously with the earlier style you literally just pull it off the back of the bulb. With the newer style you've got a separate earth which sits on a tang here, and that tang needs to be made free of that earth before the clip can come off, ideally, otherwise it gets hung up on the cable. So if we start with the dip beam, the dip beam is sort of universally recognised H1 bulb. There's just a single connection on the back of that, that's the live. The unit itself earths through the base. You'll notice that where the tang is here on the bulb, that's where the flat of the bulb mates. The clip clips down over the top. I always like to fit the power lead first, because if this hasn't been fully fitted, the clip hasn't been fully fitted, and you put the earth on, you could easily knock the clip off and then the bulb disappears either into the headlight or into your car, and it's just going to ruin your day. So earth goes on last. Now the indicator assembly on here is an awful one to get to. Even off the car it's a challenge to change. Often requires two hands, and let's be honest, when you're on the car itself it's going to be an even bigger issue. At least it's not connected to any headlight adjusters. So it takes a little rotation, then out it comes, past the levelling motor, and often with a little bit of rotation involved. In there goes a PY21W. Remembering which way up it goes is also key, because you need to connect it onto the legs that are part of the indicator or turn signal receiver. But it's an awful bulb to change, it really is. I curse Hella for their design on this. They're appalling. So now that we're done with that, we can pop the cap back on. Really important to do that on these because they are open to the elements anyway through these breather vents, but that stops dust ingress. It's very difficult actually to keep condensation out of these headlights because they are open to the elements at the back. And there's not very much in the way of circulation going on within there, so moisture can build up. That unfortunately is very difficult to avoid. But don't take the caps off and leave them off to cure it, because all that does is allow dust to go into the lenses and lights itself. It just causes problems. It's going to reduce your visibility, and it's going to tarnish your reflectors and projector reflectors a lot quicker. So underneath this side you'll find your high beam and your side light. Your side light bulb is a T10 capless wedge bulb, and that fits up the top there. You've got an earth. In this case it's the later wiring, so it is separate, whereas on the pre-2004 early 2004 and earlier you've got a combined plug on the high beam. You simply remove the live and you'll notice that there is a clip that can be pushed free, lifted, and the bulb withdrawn. So you've got the standard H1 shape there, which aligns with the tang at the lower edge there, and the clip simply retains in a standard form. When you're doing this change, or in fact side lights, do make sure you don't hit the tourist lever. So the tourist lever is this unit here. In its downward position on the left hand side, which is the one that I've got at the moment, that is your standard position for a right hand drive car. So at the moment you've got what's called the Euro kick, which is up to the near side of the road to stop you blinding people. If you lift that, it will flatten the beam, effectively allowing you to drive in Europe without blinding anybody. Or at least any left-hand drive country without blinding everybody, but you're going to struggle to pass an MOT because the dot pattern will not be MOT legal. So if ever you have a situation where one side of the car has a flat beam pattern and the other side has a kick up to the left, it will be because this lever has been toyed about with. So on the near side it needs to be in the down setting, on the off side it needs to be in the up setting. That is true for UK, it is reversed for any left-hand drive country. Again, cap needs to go back on, and you are basically good to go. They are a pain to change. You don't have to take the car apart in order to actually do this bulb change. It is possible to do in situ. This side is the easier side because it's the battery box side, so you can actually replace the bulb fairly easily on that one. You can remove the battery if you've got particularly large hands. On the other side you've got the ABS module in the way, which is not always a problem, but it is a considerable issue on later diesel models where the ABS module seems to be a lot further forward than on petrols. If you need any sort of specific advice, then I thank you very much for your comments below or your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. If you need any sort of additional videos or guides that I might be able to help with, shout out in the comments below. But yeah, otherwise thank you for any likes and subscribes and comments, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.